Structured analysis. Now, when we do requirement engineering for software engineering, we need to analyze. We need to collect the requirements. So we have seen how requirements can be collected. Once requirements comes to us, we need to structure it. We need to properly formalize it. We need to properly analyze it and use certain tools to make the specification document. So that is one of the method through which you can do that analysis is structured analysis. All right, there are other methods also like object oriented analysis also there, but then first we'll do structured analysis. Now analysis, you understand analysis. Analysis is certain use of certain other mechanism so that we can come with certain conclusion, isn't it? So that certain system can be made. So in that, structured analysis is a set of techniques through which graphical tools will be used for the analyst to develop a new system specification. So when we make SRS, system software specification requirement specification, SRS, when we make that, we're supposed to do a structured analysis. Now what is structured analysis? Now we'll see that in detail. Before that, let us see what is the purpose of it. Why do we do that analysis? Analysis is to be done with the first purpose of divide and conquer. Because we have a very large problem, we need to divide it into smaller problem and do it easily. So the second one is a top-down approach. Top-down approach in the sense it's a division, or middle out modern approach, wherein you select certain module from the project and start analyzing that module itself. Then we have a problem. We need to see the problem in terms of certain functions. What does it do? We're not concerned now as to how it is to be done, but what does it do? All right. What does it do? That means it's a functional view. It's a functional view. Then in this analysis, we do certain graphical tool we use to illustrate the ideas, because the textual part, the written part, the formal descriptions may not be understood by the programmer or the client end or certain implementer. So we need certain illustration in terms of graphics. We use certain maps, we use certain diagrams and charts to represent that ideas, which is possibly a requirement of a particular client. So we do that. So in that, analyst must keep a written record. Now you understand this. When we do analysis, structured analysis, we are developing one of the document, one of the part of a document. It's not a complete document, part of a document. Then let us see the approach through which we can do this structured analysis. Now structured analysis is associated with structured design also. So you have SASD. When you do structured analysis, you have to do structured design. When you do object oriented analysis, you have to do object oriented design, something like that. So they are all correlated terms: structured analysis, structured design, SASD. Now how do we do that? Now you can see this. First you have a existing model or existing software or any other software which you have not made as of now. Now what do? You do collect the requirement and then you analyze that. Why do you analyze? You analyze to develop certain functional architecture. Functional architecture, you understand this, functional architecture in the sense, how does that particular project works? What are the functions that a project has to deliver? Now from that you have to go to a design. Now because analysis is associated with design, you have to have a design wherein you'll have to design a database, you'll have to design the structure, you have to design data structure and all that things you'll have to design in the system architecture. Then once it is done, you'll have to build the system. Small system is to be built and then you have to go continuously to check that install and operate part. All right. Now basically you have to understand the format through which SA and SD is to be done. Now this has two basic models. One is essential model, other one is implementation model. The essential model has environmental model and behavioral model, which we will be going to study in detail. Now, what is essential model? Why do we need essential model? Because essential model is to understand what does the system do, essentiality of the project. Let's say, for example, if you are designing a alarm system, it should alarm, it should buzz around, isn't it? The buzzer has to come. A buzzer it's not a project. So the foremost essential thing the alarm system has to do is it has to sound the alarm. It has to create the alarm. Now, based on what does it create, it depends on the modalities, isn't it? It's on a fire, it's on a water, it's on a on a sound, it's on a gas, it's on what should trigger the alarm. That is different thing. But then first essential model you have to understand is what does the system do. All right. Now, now second thing is it's a combination of environmental and behavioral model. Now let's say environmental. What does environmental means? Environmental means it's a broader scope of a proposed system. It's an objective, it's a purpose, it's a bigger part. Now, wherein what do is we set certain boundaries and certain interfaces for interaction with the outside world. If you have understood this scope of a system, let's say if I am making a COVID care center, now what is the scope of a proposed system? COVID care center ko what is the scope? Scope is to get the patients, analyze those patients, diagnose those patients and send it to the concerned COVID care centers, quarantine facilities, or send them home. So that's a basic scope. That's a statement of purpose, we call it as. Then now why do we need to set the boundaries? Because who all are going to talk to that particular model, isn't it? Does that COVID model has a communication with the MO of the department? Does that model has communication with the central government which is monitoring that health state, isn't it? Or does it have a communication with the WHO? Now, how do you communicate with the outside world? That also should be established in this particular environmental model. Now, if you go a little deeper into the model, how does it works? Then we'll have to go to the behavioral model. Now, how does it behaves? Now, how does it behave in the sense? It's a functional requirement. We know what is functional and non-functional requirement. It's a functional requirement in the sense, how does a particular patient goes in, त्यसको बादमा के हुन्छ, पेशेन्टले कुन चाहिँ फर्म फिलअप गर्छ, त्यहाँको कसकोमा जान्छ, कसकोमा गएर कसरी चेक गर्छ, हाउ डु दे चेक द फिभर, हाउ डु दे चेक अदर पर्टिकुलर symptoms, कसरी चेक गर्छ, and how things comes in the behavioral model. Alright. Then you have a implementation model. Implementation model in the sense it's a mapping of those requirements which we have made into certain hardware and software. Right. So determine which function should be manual and automated, कुन चाहिँ priority मा राख्नु, कुन चाहिँ अलिक less priority मा राख्नु. Then human computer interface कतिको हुन्छ, हैन, मैले कतिको interact गर्न सक्छु, and all that part. It defines non-functional requirements also. So in each case I have written certain tools. You must know these tools. Alright. So for example, environmental model का लागि context diagram बनाउनु पर्यो, events list बनाउनु पर्यो, and behavioral model को लागि data dictionary बनाउनु पर्यो, DFD बनाउनु पर्यो, ER diagram बनाउनु पर्यो, and similarly implementation model को लागि you have to make a structured chart. Now you see this analysis and design process. Analysis and design process has something called the various tools apart from the various models. Now, environment model has associated statement of purpose. Behavioral model has this. Implementation model has process specification, structure, chart, etc. So it's a time bound. Okay. So implementation is the last phase. Firstly, environmental model also. Then you have certain definitions of such tools, I have mentioned the definitions here. You can see this, what is CFD, what is event list, what is DFD, what is data dictionary, what is ERD, and what is structure chart. Okay, so if you have any query, you can just respond me. Okay, all right, I'll close here. So you go through this. I have uploaded the PDF in the Google Classroom. You can see this examples. We will see example for each tools I have written here. I have mentioned. You can just go through this once. We will see this in detail. All right. I have assignments also. You don't need to do assignments right now. You just go through this video. Go through the PDF. All right.